Thank you, Sam. Firstly, I would like to say the first I heard of the allegation made about myself 2 months ago, about the incident 2 months ago, was post the press conference of Toronto FC on Saturday evening. I categorically deny any involvement or any incident where I have punched or assaulted any Toronto FC player or staff member. I would like to say that we as a club, I am shocked personally and upset by the allegation. We as a club have proactively asked MLS to investigate the incident on Saturday evening, and I will leave it with MLS and our legal team to carry out the investigation. I am sure you can appreciate that due to the investigation, I won't be able to or will not be willing to answer any questions on this.
Okay.
Jordan Rossi, the Exchange coach. We're obviously moving on from Toronto, but something like that, going into a rivalry week with these next two teams that we obviously have a ride with, what does it do for the team bringing everybody together?
Yeah, I think we knew this week was going to be big, right? You know, you're on the road at Toronto, and then you're on the road at Philly, and then, you know, a home derby against Red Bull. So we knew it was going to be a difficult week in the sense of opponents. So an away win, a road win, especially for us, right? You know, we've got a huge desire to fix our away record and to put points on the board away from home. So to start with a road win and a good performance and a real togetherness in the sense of how we finished the game. You know, we were under pressure in the last 20 minutes of the game. We had to defend. We went 2-1 and then we get the third goal. So a real positive first step in this week and momentum going into a tough game at Philly.
Mohammed with the Exchange. We saw Malachi do a really good game last week, and Alonso Martinez up there in the 9. You have Mijatovic, Muncif we didn't see much of. What's the status with everybody up there? I mean, in the attack.
Yeah, I think, you know, firstly is it's a 3-game week, so rotation was inevitable, whether it was the first game, the second, or the third. But also, I said to the team today, we're training incredibly well. Our intensity and our culture is excellent at the moment, and you know, guys are chomping at the bit to get a game. So a 3-game week gives opportunity. I gave it to Alonso and I gave it to Malachi, and you know, Hannah's kept his place, and I thought those 3 showed real threat. So you know, we've got some good performances. Julian's came off the bench and scored goals. Right, Andres Jassen came off the bench and showed how valuable he is to the team. So it's competitive, but I will continue to say in these conferences and in my team meetings, competition for places breeds consistency and performance, right? And do you know what? I'm so proud of the team in the sense of, if you look at the way the bench celebrated the third goal, you know, there's guys there that really want to get on the field, and there's guys there's disappointment, right? It's the hardest part of my job, picking the team. But the way they celebrate for their teammates and for the team shows me that, you know, in those press conferences when we didn't pick up points and I spoke about togetherness, it's really good to see it in the good times and the happy moments.
Scott? Hey Coach, how are you? Scott Church from Stream Punk Sports. Talk a little bit about Philadelphia right now. They're in a bit of a slide at this point, but between Gazdag, Ura, and the rest of them, they are still an offensive powerhouse. Any thoughts about that going into it?
It's going to be a difficult game. We've had a lot of intense games at Subaru Park. We know what that arena is like when there is huge motivation and huge desire to win, and for sure they're going to have that. Irrelevant of maybe their past result or their sort of form, they're a difficult team. They are a really hard team to get results against, especially there. So, you know, we're informed, there's an opportunity there for us, but we have to prepare well. We have to make sure that we go prepared and we go fresh, and you know, we take the confidence and the momentum from recent form into a tough road game.
Question. All right, we'll move on to the Zoom. Tom Bogart.
Thank you. Thanks for taking the time. It's Tom Bogart from The Athletic. Again, Nick, I know that you said that you're probably going to no comment anything about the allegations from Saturday, but can you just, I guess, put me in your shoes when you were kind of first hearing of the allegation Saturday night, and what kind of emotions and responses that were going through your mind?
I think I said in the statement, I'm shocked and upset at the allegation.
Let's go, Michael Ender.
Hey Nick, Mike Andrew from Blue City Radio. Thanks for the time. You talked about rotation. You obviously started Andres Pereira and Malachi. They both scored. How much does performance go into changing maybe what the plan was if you go into that 3-game week? Do you alter it?
Well, I think when you rotate, and try and pre-plan how you might look at the games. One thing we did as a staff is we started with Red Bull in mind, and we sort of worked backwards, and we have a sort of skeleton plan. But you're so right, when somebody comes in and plays really well, it definitely blows a hole in the potential plan, because you see, momentum and confidence. And I've said before in the press, right, I've always been a guy that's gone for form over freshness. If you look at, when I was interim coach in the back end of 2022, and we got to the conference final, and if you look in my previous roles, I've tended to always pick a team based on form rather than freshness. But the nature of our league is, with travel and schedule and time zones and climate, is, you have to learn that that always isn't possible. And I think that is one of my reflections, and where I use, the real experience I have in the staff with Rob Vartugian and Mehdi Bellucci and guys that have been in the league a long time, right? So we'll look at it. We'll maybe retain some guys that played well, but for sure we'll have to go with freshness, because 3-game weeks, intense games, it's essential.
Let's go to Hudson River Blue.
Hi, thank you. This is Oliver Strand with Hudson River Blue. A quick question about Saturday night. In the TFC press conference, Captain Osorio was talking about bad blood from the March 16th game at Yankee Stadium, and the implication was that they went into that game feeling that there was a rivalry that had tipped over into something that was kind of ill-tempered, that there was bad blood. Was that also felt on the NYCFC side?
I think it's an intense game in the sense of how the game was played, but everywhere you go on the road in MLS is a difficult game. Teams want to get points at home, so we were prepared to go and get 3 points, and we're really pleased that we played well, performed well, and took 3 points.
Michael Stewart.
Michael Stewart down from Press America. Just asking about Monsef Bakrar. He wasn't on the team sheet for Saturday in Toronto. Is he in the plans for Philadelphia? And are there any repercussions from the melee after the Toronto game that could suffer losing players for the Philly match?
The Monsef one, I appreciate the question on Monsef, because he didn't make the injury report based on he got some knee pain in the small-sided games that we do match day -1. It's literally the last thing we do before we travel, so we didn't expect it, and I'm really pleased that it was nothing serious. So he still is, he's available. He's back in the squad. He trained today. He'll train tomorrow with the team. So it's when the guys get these knee issues, we want to make sure that we do it right and we do it properly. So disappointing for him, because he wanted to be in contention for the game, but he's really pleased that he's in contention for the game against Philadelphia.
All right, one more question, Chris Campbell.
Hey Coach, Chris Campbell from the outfield. So following the Toronto game and the emotional ending to that, you now have games, within this next 7 days against 2 opponents that have typically had high emotions. Philadelphia, the history there. Red Bulls, the history and location there. How do you look to harness, emotional play on the field so that you have that intensity that's needed to win these games, as well as cap it, when necessary, so that, lines aren't crossed and players don't hurt the team?
I think it's part of professional sport, right? Intensity is a major part of our game. You can see in the goals that we scored against Toronto, and the way that we've improved our team over the season, that being a really strong counter-pressing team, being a really strong high-pressing team, being one of the top teams in high-speed running across MLS is a great indicator of a team that plays with high intensity. And I think, I think we've done a really good job of really improving the intensity of the team. The players have done an amazing job with the physical performance team to improve our ability to be an intense team. But at the same time, we are a very tactical team, and you have to, have the coolness and the understanding in how if you look at the way the penalty in the Toronto game came about, I thought our build-up play was excellent. Our positional build-up play was almost the perfect example of the game plan of what we wanted to do. So I think when we are scoring goals across all phases of the game, whether it be in established possession, whether it be in, pressing moments, is a good indicator that we have a really good balance between how we use our intensity in the game and how we use our understanding and our tactical knowledge of how we want to play the game.
Great, thanks everyone.
Thank you, guys.